Now we'll get on to number 9, which is public comment on items not on this agenda. It is the council's policy to refer matters raised in this forum to staff for investigation and/or action where appropriate. The Brown Act prohibits the council from discussing or acting upon any matter not agendized pursuant to state law. Okay, Kevin?
Okay, Kevin Martinez, 177 Martin Place. Recently, there's been I understand the situation, done some investigating. There's been a change in the parking on the sidewalk situation, which I completely understand with the handicap. Although on Martin Place, it poses a whole different set of problems. When we park off the sidewalk, I've been there for 21 years, and I've been living in San Bruno all my life, never known anybody not to park up on the sidewalk. In light of the fact that it just makes the street too narrow for emergency vehicles, and it causes a lot of dangerous problems. And so I would be requesting that we have an exemption on Martin Place. I've already talked to the fire chief, and I've looked on the internet, and the emergency vehicle minimum is 9 feet, but he told me it's actually 12. And if I park my truck right up against the curb, it's 8'4" to the other curb. We've had the UPS and the FedEx and all the garbage trucks are riding up on the sidewalk just to get down the street. So in light of the fact that we have 2 sidewalks, we park up on one side and the other side's all red, and it's a clear shot all the way down the sidewalk for the handicapped people. The only thing that's really missing, and we knew we were having a park put in, and I went to the park and rec meeting last week, and the one thing that was not on their agenda is handicap ramps on the corners. And I have pictures of the actual sidewalk, and it's in pretty bad shape, and I wanted to bring to the attention that that wasn't part of the park plan to redo the sidewalks, and I know it's a process to get to, and I know it's in line, but maybe we can expedite the sidewalks around the park so that we don't have cracked sidewalks when we open the brand new park, and possibly put a couple more exit ramps for the handicap in there sooner than maybe it was on the schedule. So the handicap ramps, solving the problem with the handicapped people going up and down the street, we can get back on the sidewalk, get out of the way of all the emergency vehicles, and bring the whole danger level down, is my suggestion.
All right, thank you very much. I know there's been some discussion recently regarding some of the notices that went out, and we're going to have a more thorough discussion at the council level regarding that before we actually start to tag people on this thing. So
right, realize that
right.
Dave is not here yet.
Right, exactly. Anyone else under public comment? Oh, Dave?
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, I have 2 brief items. The first one has to do with the Crestmore High School, Peninsula High School property and its future. I attended with some of my colleagues and many of the AYSO folks, and I want you to know that Vice Mayor Marty Medina did a great job addressing the San Mateo Union High School Board, and it was a very positive, what I heard was very positive from them regarding the sports fields. So it's something that is ongoing, and we need to pay attention. The second thing I came to thank you. You know, I was honored nationally in St. Louis at the beginning of the month, and I was so honored. I was one of 2 Californians. The first Californian was the County of San Diego for their programs, and a commissioner from San Bruno, California for public advocacy. And when I went, there were 500 people in the room that evening. It was called the Best of the Best ceremony, and you will all get a program, but my wife and I went on a vacation after that. We have so much luggage, it's coming by mail. And I was featured on one of the pages here, and there were 8,000 delegates at the conference. They represented all 50 states and Canada and Mexico and other countries. It was just an uplifting. I want to thank the City Council for supporting me all these years. I want to thank our city manager and our director of Parks and Recreation. I also, as you know, serve as chairman of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, and I will be coming to our commission to collaborate with some of the bike paths and park paths that we're thinking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else under public comment?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Ruane and members of the City Council. I'm Lucy Mejia, and I'm the owner of Don Pico's Mexican Bistro and Cevicheria in San Bruno. And I'm here to talk about taco trucks and to request that the City Council consider enacting an ordinance similar to that of Millbrae prohibiting solicitation on highways within the city limits, including, of course, El Camino Real. What's wrong with taco trucks? Nothing's wrong with taco trucks. Taco trucks are great where there are no other options for fast, economical food choices. But that is not the case in San Bruno. There are many food options for Mexican food or Latin food in San Bruno, not just Don Pico's, but also Araju's, Celia's, Nueve, and others. I submit that allowing taco trucks in the city of San Bruno on El Camino not only detracts from the aesthetics of the city in that area, but also deprives San Bruno restaurants like Don Pico's from a source of revenue. On any given day, weekday or weekend, it doesn't matter, you can see up to 6 taco trucks parked within 2 blocks of Don Pico's at 461 El Camino Real. From South San Francisco all the way to the Millbrae border, you can see taco trucks. And while it is true that Don Pico's is not a taqueria, it is more of an upscale family restaurant, we do have many lower-priced options, as do many other San Bruno restaurants. For these reasons, I request that the City Council consider an ordinance prohibiting solicitation on El Camino Real in the city of San Bruno city limits. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And just one more thing, if anyone's interested, I do have copies of the Millbrae ordinance, but you can look it up too. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Mark, do we have any jurisdiction over El Camino Real?
Under state streets and highways code, the city could adopt an ordinance similar to what Millbrae did to prohibit those trucks from dispensing goods and services on El Camino Real. That's what the city of Millbrae did. Mm-hmm. That's what the speaker was referring to.
Okay.
However, the city, as you know, has its own ordinance that regulates taco trucks, which was arrived at following a lengthy process of mediation and discussions with the owners of those trucks, as well as other interest groups in the community.
Okay. We should maybe revisit that whole situation. All right, thank you. Anyone else? You have to do it at the podium, please, real quick.
This is an issue that's been around for a long time. If any of you knew my husband, this was one of his pet peeves. One other reason, and I don't know what the answer is, but I don't know if these taco trucks pay any taxes to the city of San Bruno, and that's something also I forgot to mention. I'm a resident of San Bruno. My business is in San Bruno. I pay lots of taxes in the city, and I question whether or not these taco trucks that come in, most of them are from South San Francisco, according to the information on the side. Some of them don't even have where they're from. But I question whether or not they pay taxes, and I think that it would be fair for the city council to consider protecting San Bruno businesses versus protecting businesses coming in from San Bruno that are getting the benefits of people spending money in our city.
Okay.
So,
we'll look into all that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else under public comment?